of the university. So one is sitting there now and one is thinking, you know what? It does seem in some respects too that ASUU, there should be a third force of accountability holding the management, the constitutional management of the university to account. Sometimes it does seem that there is a degree of complicity and things that done so shoddily that even when it's obvious to the open eyes that, you know what, things are not properly done, ego comes into it and you don't want outsiders to be involved. One hopes that will not be the direction we'll be going after these victories for ASUU.
Okay, if I get you right, and that means you are referring to especially what happened in University of Lagos, whereby the chairman of the governing council claimed that the VC committed some atrocities. Am I getting it right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, actually I myself, I did not completely agree with ASUU, the way ASUU went about it. Although what they are trying to address, I believe they should not have gone the way they went, because ASUU is the one also preaching against accountability. But what ASUU was after and at that time was that the chairman of governing council did not follow the process. That was their claim. The due process was not followed.
Prof, to be honest with you, some of us in the world of journalism and analysis of events, we know that the very reason why it did seem that the VC and the ego trippers of UNILAG got away with murder was because the person concerned, and I'm not mentioning names, the person concerned had his own reputational baggage. If it was not for the fact that that person had his own reputational baggage, what happened in UNILAG was indeed a disgrace to tertiary education management in Nigeria. If somebody had the temerity to come on national TV and call me a thief, I will litigate. And I kept telling people that if that VC did not go ahead to litigate, it would be an indictment, not only against himself, but indeed against ASUU that was celebrating with him when they reinstated him. And I concede the fact, sir, that even you said you weren't too happy with it. And one is just praying at this juncture that the management of universities will not be going in that direction with some perceived degree of complicity by the local ASUU leadership. That is the only thing, the point I'm trying to make, sir.
But on this particular matter, we didn't totally agree. There was division among us. Because as I said, my own point around that time was the fact that we should have allowed the governing council to have their way. If the governing council says somebody is corrupt, the person should be the one to go and defend himself. Okay? The person should also be the one to defend himself. But the government also added to the whole problem. Because the government should have tried to interfere with the autonomy of the university. There's already an autonomy act that gave the governing council, okay, the power to be the one to recruit whoever is going to be the vice chancellor. So they are also the one to also determine who should be removed. But the government itself interfered in the whole process. The government, so a lot of people, a lot of issues are involved in that matter.
Prof.
So what is very necessary now what is very necessary is to have a good corporate governance in place now.
Prof,
So that
I must celebrate
this kind of thing in future.
Prof, I must celebrate your candor because for so long a time I've never seen somebody this high up in ASU saying that at that point he or she was a bit. But having said that, to wrap up now, I must just ask you this question. Now that after long suffering, after abuses, after denials, ASU has gotten this victory for the management of tertiary institution in Nigeria, because ASU was the most steadfast, especially on the issue of the over-centralization of the remuneration system. Now that ASU has gotten it, some of your members who felt that you people were just being unduly obstinate, how would you go now? I guess if the rain falls, it falls on everybody. It's going to be a general blessing, is it?
Am I still on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, my comment on that is that what the government has done now is part of the things ASU wanted. Okay, it's part of the demand of ASU, and so it's like it was good that the government itself saw it. He saw that this RTPS might not really work for the universities. So that's why I say it's a welcome development, and it's going to be well embraced by ASU. Okay.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
Now 500 naira they collect them.
If you don't talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Speaker of the Rivers House of Assembly, Edison Eye, has declared the seats of the lawmakers who defected vacant. On Monday, 27 lawmakers said to be loyal to Nyesom Wike, the immediate past governor of the state, left the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the All Progressives Congress, APC. During plenary on Wednesday at the Government House, following the early morning demolition of the Assembly complex, with only lawmakers loyal to the governor in attendance, AA declared the seats of the defectors vacant. Let's listen.
The motion to declare the seat of 25 defected members of the Rivers House of Assembly vacant. This House received correspondence, notices, and publications, including letters from 25 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly for their former defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. And we have also confirmed this visually, including videos that were posted via media houses and including the social media. We are aware that it is the right members and every Nigerian regards freedom of association. Consequently, distinguished colleagues, the House, having deliberated formally on the motion before it in line with our standing order and the Constitution of 1999 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I hereby declare the seats of the following honorable members of the Rivers State House of Assembly vacant.
In an interesting twist to the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, the Martins Amewule-led Rivers State House of Assembly convened a sitting on Thursday, some 24 hours after Governor Siminalayi Fubara led the demolition of the Assembly complex on Moscow Road. The Amewule group held a plenary session at the auditorium of the Assembly quarters on Aba Road, despite a restraining court order. The sitting by the Amewule group came just a day after the five-man group led by Edison Eye declared vacant 27 seats of the lawmakers in the Amewule group for defecting from the PDP to the All Progressive Congress. Joining us is Barrister Inibehe Effiong. Barrister, good evening this evening.
Good evening.
Barrister, what would be your take to... Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
What would be your take to the unfolding melodrama, very saddening melodrama in Rivers State?
It is quite unfortunate, but at the same time, some of us are not surprised by the canary of shame that is taking place in Rivers State. And that is essentially because we have Wike who has assumed the status of an emperor and believe that everyone has to submit and bow before his throne of judgment. And then when you have a man who says he purchased nomination forms for all elective office holders in Rivers State, including Fubara, the other assembly members, and even the National Assembly members, that speaks to a man who is suffering from chronic God complex. He has assumed the position of a god in the politics of Rivers State. That is why Wike cannot comprehend why his protege, Fubara, will want to have an independent political life or existence. So what is going on is just about greed and selfish interest. Fubara is also desperate to retain the position. The Godfather is also desperate to remove him. I think that is what is going on.
Okay.
But in the midst of all that, the law also must be respected, which is one that if the defecting law or former lawmakers, as it were, had come to a decision that they can no longer remain in the party on whose platform they contested, the party that sponsored their election, the honorable thing is to resign. Wike himself in the past had stated clearly that one should not decamp from the party on whose platform one was elected to a different party. That was why when he was deprecating the then governor of Zamfara State for the coming from the PDP to the APC. But again, this is how our politicians are. They engage in double speak. They are hypocritical and eternally dishonest. So I am submitting that those members having defected, they are deemed to have lost their seats. Their seats can be properly declared vacant. And that is what Edison Ehi, who is also laying claim to the position of speakership, partly on the basis of the interim order of the High Court of Rivers State, seems to have given effect to.
Oh, okay, Barrister, let me quickly go to your colleague, Dr. Ubani. Dr. Ubani, are you there? Hello, hello, Dr. Ubani.
I'm here. Are you seeing me? I'm here.
Okay. Dr. Ubani, it is obvious that the ex parte order gotten by one of the factions of the Rivers State House of Assembly seem to logically now have precipitated a situation where a four-man member body sat to approve a 800 billion naira plus budget. Went ahead also, one could also presume that it was the same order that must have given that temerity to whoever instructed the demolition of the sanctuary of lawmaking in Rivers State. How would you respond to that, Doc?
Thank you for having me. I want to say that there are several ex parte orders now that the parties are holding tenaciously to. You remember that there was this ex parte order that was initially obtained by the majority of the 27 members in Abuja, I think by Justice Omotosho, who restrained everyone that they put as a defendant from interfering with their legislative function in Rivers State. The minority went to Federal High Court somewhere in Port Harcourt too, and sought for an ex parte order. All their reliefs were denied, but the court made a pronouncement that one, and all parties should be put on notice. There was an order to that effect, but also some assaulted, in the last statement by saying all parties who are mentioned in this particular suit to maintain a status quo, and they should remain where they were. That was the order that the last judge made in Port Harcourt. But I don't think that particular order was very satisfactory to the minority members. So what they did was that yesterday they went back, I think, to a different court and now got a very substantive order that now recognize the 5 members as the proper authority to legislate for Rivers State government or state. And then they now conveyed, and from the story we heard, they now declare the seats of the 27 member or 25 members vacant, based on the fact that they defected. And the law is very clear as to the issue of defection anyway. It is only the members of the Legislative Assembly that the law allows to defect, that would have made pronouncement as to what should happen if they want to defect. For the executive, very silent, and any other political officer, they're very silent. But for lawmakers, the Constitution was very express that if you want to defect, fine, your seat will be declared vacant, except you can prove, except you can be able to provide evidence that at the time of your defection, that there was what we call division within your political party under which you were elected. And so if you are not able to provide that evidence to show that there is sufficient evidence of division, then of course your seat will be declared vacant. Now these guys defected and cited, that they were not able to have communication with the secretary of the party, or there are cases that are pending both in Lagos and Abuja concerning the leadership, also in the secretariat and all that. And for that reason, they felt that there is enough crisis or division that would now warrant them defecting. And they were all singing and happy that they have defected and all that. But these people now got a court order, ex parte, saying that they are now the legitimate house. And based upon that, they sat and then now declare the seat of the other majority members vacant. So what is playing out actually in Rivers is something that we should not smile about. We should be really mourning as a nation, because this is clearly very disgraceful, very embarrassing, and not clearly in tandem with the wishes of the people who have elected these men, and women to go and represent them and provide good governance. And I'm so sad again that the court is beginning now to be part of the entire process, because the politician can rubbish any institution. And I'm so sad that the judiciary is being brought in now in such a manner that they're playing to the beat of the politicians. I had thought that in such a very serious, grave matter, that the court would have asked all parties to be put on notice and let this matter be settled once and for all. This issue of ex parte applications and order that the court is now giving to all of them, and they are all holding tenaciously to it, will create more confusion and not augur well, both for the judiciary and for the country and for the state. So I'm so
Dr. Obani,
sad with that development. Yes.
Dr. Obani, I'll come back to you, Doctor. Let me go to Barrister Effiong. Barrister, in the matters appertaining Rivers, one really has to be very careful, even the way one asks questions. So I want to separate or compartmentalize issues now. Let me take the issue of the demolition or the optics of the demolition of the edifice that symbolizes an independent arm of government by agents of another arm whose principal could be said to be using the demolition to protect his own position. How does that look to somebody who is dispassionate, who is not partisan? How does that look to you, especially as somebody of the law?
It is a very responsible development. I don't understand why the complex had to be demolished. If there are structural defects, I'm not